Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban. I've got blisters on my fingers!
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 182, Uchu Kara no Shinryaku, Siren Hirai in Japanese. The English translation, Invaders from Outer Space, The Coming of Siren. Or the German title, Familienzuwachs. I have no idea how to say this.
Goodness.
But it means family growth.
Allow me to step in.
Yes, please.
Familienzuwachs.
Familienzuwachs.
Is one of those great German words, auf Deutsch, that is just one word.
Yep.
Do you have a word that means like the growth of a family? Oh, Familienzuwachs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, thanks. I knew you'd have that.
So I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, that's, it is.
It is family growth.
Family growth could be having a baby.
Yep.
Or getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Or also the kind of family growth that happens on an 80s sitcom.
Well, you get a new sibling?
No. No, like, I guess we grew today as a family.
Oh, okay.
Ba-da-ba, right? Do you think the Germans, they don't mean it that way, though.
I don't think they do.
Nine! That's not what it means. Don't do double meanings. Just when a baby is added to the family.
That's right.
Oh
my gosh.
Well, we always love adding people to our family. Our family is made up of, well, you, me, a squeaky chair, and all the listeners who find us on their listening platform of choice, including Spotify, who, as far as I can tell, has got the comments thing worked out.
Oh, good.
You can leave comments on every one of our episodes on Spotify. And again, I had to say this a while ago, now that they've changed with such courage, they've changed the program one more time. You can leave just comments, like, hey, good job on the episode. I don't know if I get notified if you leave a comment on an old episode.
Got it.
I will look around. I used to get a ding when people answered old Q&As, but
Got it.
So if we don't talk about your comment, just hang in there. We'll find it eventually. But we do have a comment.
All right.
From our last episode, 181, Seiya and Usagi's heart-pounding date. That comment is from listener Cincy Raz, who says, comments have arrived for the Android app. Thank you, Cincy. Says, don't forget to join the Discord for more discussions. I'll just turn it over to you. You want to take this, Cincy? Go ahead. Cincy, do you want to tell us what happened in the episode?
Yeah, right.
Cincy goes on and says, I hope the path for Sailor Noob after episode 200 is crystal clear. Blank face emoji.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see if you want to take it over. But, we'll see. We'll be talking about the future.
Yes, we will.
We're going to be literally talking about the future on this show, but we'll be talking about the future of the show in the future of the show. So just stick around for that. But thanks for your comment. And listeners, if you are on Spotify, you can comment on our episodes by going to your app or going to Spotify on the web.
Well, Cal, can you tell us what happens in today's episode?
I guess I'll do that. This episode begins on the street, in the heat, where Usagi is dropping a letter into a post office box. It's a letter to Mamoru, and she thinks to herself, Mamo-chan, this is the 30th letter. Are you okay?
Yeah, right.
You ever hear of a telephone?
I know.
You could probably just call the college and have them paged.
Probably.
Or the PA. I bet they even have an 800 number, and if they don't, you can dial down the center with 1-900-COLLECT.
Save a buck or two.
Take advantage of being in the 90s. You don't know how good you have it. Usagi doesn't seem to agree as she says to herself, there are many things these days. Which, in addition to being a new t-shirt for us, is, I think, intended to express her uncertainty about her situation, W/R/T, her feelings for Seiya.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And we see their interactions from last episode in a mental flashback. And Usagi blushes and says, why did I think of him? And she looks to the sky and thinks, Mamo-chan, I want to see you. As the camera pulls out, leaving her alone on the street. There's many things these days, and one of those things is a young redheaded girl floating down from the sun in a cloud of feathers. Title screen. We cut to the space room, not Bar Space Edge, but Galaxia's space room. It's down the street, where Galaxia herself has a stern look on her face as we hear the rattling of something in her hand that she's fidgeting with. She's like Captain Queeg in the Kane Mutiny.
In the what mutiny?
The Kane Mutiny.
What is the Kane Mutiny?
The 1957 film starring Humphrey Bogart, as Captain Queeg. It's based on the Herman Wouk novel, and it's about like this captain who's a real jerk, and he kind of goes on trial for abusing his men, and he has these ball bearings that he plays with.
Okay.
It's like a stress ball type thing.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to be when he gets nervous, he does this thing, and he's like, strawberries, the strawberries.
Oh my God.
I ate my strawberries. Yeah, that's what it's like. I don't know what that says about Galaxia. I hope they don't eat her strawberries.
Ah, but the strawberries.
She calls Animamates, and she opens her hand to reveal 3 glowing star seeds as 2 shadowy figures appear before her throne. Galaxia says, we control almost 80% of the whole galaxy. Almost 80%?
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to get that above 80%.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe they don't control the space in between the spiral arms, right? That's just filler space. There's nothing there, really. So,
right.
Forget that. One of the shadowy figures says, we have continued to collect true star seeds. The rest of them are on frontier planets, like in this solar system. Wow, so Sailor Iron Mouse, really not cutting it.
No.
Star seeds, 0. Or maybe she delivered these 3 star seeds, but it doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't.
Galaxia says, when I get all the star seeds, I'll be the true ruler of the galaxy. And yeah, maybe she can have them set in some kind of glove, and she could snap her fingers, get the other 20% of the galaxy under control.
There you go.
Get dyed purple and put divots in her chin. Galaxia says, Sailor Aluminum Siren. And forward steps Coco Michelle, who we can now see has a real underwear-looking outfit on.
She does.
This is some real Fredericks of Hollywood stuff.
Uh-huh.
Emma Frost is like, do you want to jump a love? Is Emma Frost British?
I feel like she should be.
I feel like she is.
Yeah.
But I think that takes away, that's stealing valor from rich, snobby New England people, I think. I don't think she is. Galaxia says, collect the remaining star seeds. I won't forgive failures like Iron Mouse. And Siren says, oui, Marine. Because she's going to be French.
Oh.
We're going to try this out.
Okay, got it.
Well, just because your boyfriend is unresponsive doesn't mean you stop superheroing. So the squad and the cats are meeting at the park to go over what they learned last episode. Namely, that Galaxia is the name of their ultimate foe.
Yes.
And they're going to have a little ice cream, of course. Ami says, Haruka said that the starlights are intruders from beyond the solar system. And Luna says, so the starlights are also our enemies? I don't know, Luna. Why don't you tell us?
You know
How's your
everything.
memory doing?
Yeah, right.
Speaking of memory, Sailor Moon remembers how the starlights helped her last episode, and she says, I'm sure they're not bad guys. And Minako says, but we can't tell what they may have in mind. I mean, they are aliens. Minako, everybody you guys meet are aliens.
That's true.
From other dimensions. They're from Pluto, the 10th planet, or whatever. Where are Haruka and Michiru from? They're probably not aliens, but it's weird to think that they're just like, oh yeah, I'm from Shirakawa, and Michiru's from Iga. We just work in outer space.
Right.
Minako leans in, gripping her ice cream cone, and says, they may approach us as allies. But then one day, bam, you've been abducted, and they're putting implants in your head. And Ray's like, okay, no more X-Files for you. I bet the X-Files was huge in Japan.
I bet it was too.
Government agents dealing with monsters, conspiracies, will they, won't they, sexual tension. It's basically an anime already.
It is.
I was hoping you could help me solve the mystery of the horny beast.
Usagi says, they don't seem like bad guys, and one of them is hot. But a voice says, don't be too open-minded. And Setsuna steps out from behind a wall. She's from Kamakura. She says, it seems there is an evil energy throughout the galaxy. Nobody wants to work anymore.
Oh my God.
What if she was just like, this is like an old lady? Like she's, like a tan, like stacked greenhead, but she's like thousands of years old. So she goes to bed at like 6 p.m. after the 4 p.m. senior scramble
She drinks
dinner special.
She drinks prune juice.
She's always like, good job, everybody. Werther's Original? Werther's Original over here? No? Okay. Can you guys keep it down? You're so loud. We see an image of the galaxy as she says, the dark energy that steals the brightness of stars and planets. And Artemis says, the dark energy that steals the brightness of stars and planets?
You serious? I just told you that a moment ago.
Right. Maybe it's time to retire, Artie. You live the good life. Video games and tuna every day. You've earned it. Setsuna says, we have to be very careful. This enemy is different from ones that we've encountered. And as we pan across our girls clutching their ice cream cones, we see that Setsuna is holding a popsicle.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to know that the show's not going to take this seriously either.
No, I know.
Maybe it's time for me to retire if the show's going to make fun of itself. Just video games and tuna all day. I could do that. We cut to a garbage can. There's a couple shots of garbage cans in this episode. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know why.
Well, I noticed it here.
There's one here. There's one in the office. And then there's one at the very end. What are they saying about the episode?
I don't know. It comes in threes.
This is garbage. We got to a garbage can, and a can of Orange Crush goes into it as Usagi plops down on a park bench, saying, everyone says, be careful, be careful. I wonder if the starlights are suspicious. Luna is there, and she says, they say that because they worry about you. You're too gullible, Usagi. Just the other day... We cut to Usagi remembering shaking Sailor Starfighter's hand. She can't even get through the explanation of how she's not listening. We were talking about chocolate.
That was 10 minutes ago.
But Luna's like, hey, are you listening? So we don't get to hear it. I wanted to hear what Luna had to say.
I know.
Like, the other day, you tried to make your own Pocky, but you drank all the chocolate. You got second-degree burns. Usagi looks up and is mystified by the sight of a pink umbrella. And holding the umbrella is a red-haired, dangoed child. A little red-haired girl!
Yeah.
A gust of wind takes the child's umbrella, and Usagi leaps up to catch it and returns it to her, and the girl beams at Usagi, and Usagi says, aw, you're cute. Bye, and walks away. Good instinct, Usagi. Walk faster. As Luna and Usagi walk home, Luna turns around to see that the child is following them. An angelic smile on her face. Usagi's like, what do we do? And Luna says, her family's probably worried. Did we just kidnap a kid?
Oh my God.
Do you have a flute or something? I have this Werther's Original that Setsuna gave me.
Oh my gosh.
That's some candy. Usagi runs back to the girl and says, hey, what's your name? And the girl says, Chibi Chibi. Okay, show. I'm asking you to be very careful right now in how you proceed. It's for your own good. Usagi's like, okay, are you alone? Chibi, where's your mom? Chibi Chibi. Luna says, why don't we take her to the police station?
At the police.
And Usagi says, I was just thinking that. Where did she go? The girl is gone! Leaving Usagi dumbfounded. Run away! At Third Production Studio, Siren, in her human form, is throwing away all of Nezu's things.
I know.
Cleaning out her desk. And most of Nezu's stuff was talent catalogs, which I guess makes sense. I mean, that's what we saw her looking at mostly.
Yeah, it's true.
Siren says, a useless person has to go away with her destiny. And she wipes the desk down and throws away Nezu's mouse coffee cup in her cat trash can.
I know.
This is interesting. This is like only the second time I think that the new villain has referred to the old villain. Except maybe like Kalinite coming back And of course, the four kings were always like, are they alive? Are they dead? Well, you know, what's going on?
Right.
But like, this is the first time where they're just like explicitly going, next. Somebody else comes in, literally cleaning out her locker.
Yeah.
Siren, dressed implausibly in a lavender skirt and blouse with a string of pearls, a real trad vibe here.
Yeah.
Says, Poor Nezu, I'm so sad that I've become hungry. Huh. Well, there's always food after funeral. We hear, what are you doing? And we see that Siren has a little octopus tentacle coming out of her mouth as she turns to see Macaroni in a red vest, white blouse, and khaki culottes. Very sensible.
Yes.
Oh, she's got like a red, I guess it's a cameo, but there's no picture, a brooch or cameo.
Right.
Siren says, oh, c'est le lait crow. Crow says, Karasuma, that's my Earth name, don't forget. So many names for me to forget. Siren says, oh, Karasuma, do you want some octopus? Some pouvet? And Karasuma says, stop playing around. Siren says, I was told to use Nezu's old desk, but it's so messy. And as she talks, the tentacle in her mouth wiggles around. It's a weird show.
It is a weird show.
Karasuma says, wow, you used to compete with me for #1 in the Animamates, but now you're slumming it on Frontier Planets. Another rival bites the dust, or octopus. And Siren says, Felicitations. And Karasuma's like, what? And Siren says, well, I thought I was the one sent to Earth. You didn't have to follow me. And Karasuma says, I came here because I'm worried about my rival.
Third base.
She says, how could a goon like you even be my rival? And Siren says, désolé. Karasuma says, anyway, take your work more seriously or you'll end up like Iron Mouse. Go and find the target. Oh, what a bothersome girl. Siren goes to her desk and says, before I do that, I'll eat my lunch. Do you want some? And Karasuma's like, on the street, Usagi and Luna are still looking for this mysterious girl, but they end up at home. And Usagi says, she probably found her mom and went home. Anyway, let's get a cold drink. I'm so tired. Usagi opens her front door, and in the foyer is the redheaded girl. Usagi is blown away, and she says, why is she here? And just then, Ukuko comes in and says, oh, you're home. You left such a cute sister and went out to have fun. And she says to the girl, how bad your sister is. And Usagi's like, sister? Ikuko says, why are you surprised? Your cute sister, Chibi Chibi-chan, remember? And the girl says, Chibi Chibi. And Usagi's like,
What the fuck?
I want you to be very careful, Sho, with how you proceed here. They're doing Faith again? I shouldn't pretend like I know anything about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but Buffy had a sister that appeared out of nowhere at the end of like the 5th season that everybody else remembered, but Buffy didn't.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned this back, 125 episodes ago when Chibi Uso arrived!
I know.
Be very careful, Sho. The show's like, Yukihara's gone, now we're going to get Scrappy-Doo right this time. This is a scrap. Redo.
Oh my God.
Pretty proud of that. We cut to Japan Shopping District where the squad says, a new one? I know, right? We see Ikuko and Chibi Chibi through the window of a toy store, and looking in are Usagi and the girls. And Usagi says, yeah, I don't believe my mom gave birth to her. That's kind of academic, Usagi.
Yeah.
The child is here. However she arrived. Unless she thinks this happened this afternoon.
She doesn't think that.
What are you making in the kitchen, Mom?
Oh my God.
Do they have sex ed in Japanese high school?
They should.
They have it in the manga shop. Keep sex ed in the manga shop. Because this show cannot help itself. Manako slides into frame, mirroring Usagi, and says, how cute. I want to have one too. Just wait, Mina.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Artie's going to forget to put the progestin in your smoothie one morning. And
Oh my God,
bam,
no.
wish granted. Ray, the voice of reason among all these breeders, says, you want to have one too? She's not a kitten. No offense, Diana, wherever you are. Ami says, maybe it's Chibi Yusa's sister? And Makoto says, maybe after hearing her sister's stories, she came to the 20th century? I'm going to shut up now. Just disappears from the episode.
I know.
Poor Makoto. Maybe if she'd heard stories about what happens in the 21st century, she wouldn't have bothered. Well, maybe just pop in for July 8th, 2022.
What's July 8th?
You can look that one up on your own.
Okay.
And Ami says, she does look more like you, Usagi. Rei says, Chibiusa's sister means Mamoru and Usagi have more than one child? And Usagi and Minako go, whoa! And Usagi says, Ahsoka, that's what's going to happen. And Setsuna says, that won't happen. And everyone is like, oh, Setsuna! Setsuna's here! She says, I was worried, so I followed you. As far as I know, Small Lady is the queen's only child. She had her crystal tubes crystal tied.
Oh my God.
Usagi says, so who's that girl? ¿Quién es esta niña? Setsuna says, just be careful. But Usagi says, nah, she's just a little girl. But Setsuna says, even so, it's dangerous to just believe her. Ikuko emerges from the store yelling, Chibi Chibi-chan, where are you? And Usagi's like, ugh, zoinks. And Ami says, let's split up, gang, and look for her. Ami is so the Fred.
You think so?
She would totally wear a neckerchief.
She would.
Yeah. And sometimes she's got big lapels, too. Her blue and white, those are her colors.
That's true.
Usagi, walking down the street, wonders where she's going to find this kid. Maybe try a chibi snack? A Chibi Chibi snack? She sees a policeman, but she's not in America, so it's fine. The cop asks Chibi Chibi, where are you from? And she says, where are you from? And he says, what's your name? And she says, your name. And he says, good movie. I was up for the main role. Both of them. That's a joke that'll make sense when it's revealed that I'm Seiya.
Oh my God.
Usagi sees that the cop is Seiya and says, Setsuna told us not to trust you. No. She says, what? You're a one-day police chief? All right, a one-day police chief is just like, it's a thing, it's like a promotional thing. It's like, we're doing a thing. Like Godzilla was a one-day police chief this year. No, I'm not
Are you
kidding.
serious?
Godzilla, Google it. Godzilla one-day police chief. It's just a thing that they, have stars do. It's like when George Clooney rings the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's a big honor. All kinds of stars do it, like Seiya and Godzilla. Now Godzilla, he demands respect. I'm going to step on your car if you're parking in the wrong place.
That's right.
Seiya says, dumpling? Yep, this is also an idol's job. Impersonating a cop? As they walk along, Chibi Chibi on his shoulders, Seiya says, she kind of looks like you, but not like a sister. More like your daughter. And Usagi's like, ooh. And he says, what, did I say something wrong? And she says, you have no idea. And he says, a secret, eh? And Usagi says, well, I have some secrets. And he says, let's not have any secrets between us, okay? And Usagi says, I think you have more secrets than me. And Seiya says, well, I have one or two. We cut to the 10th District Police Station, where Akuko is reunited with her granddaughter, perfect stranger, as officers Taiki and Yaten look on. What the fuck? Seiya says, it was nothing. And Usagi says, yeah, he just tripped over her. And Seiya says, well, you don't have to say it like that. She says, it's true. The police chief comes in and says, wow, even during lunch, you're still acting as a one-day police chief. That beats the pants off of Godzilla. The real spirit of a policeman. That's the real spirit of a policeman right there. Working on his lunch break. Lurking around the corner are Karasuma and Siren. And Karasuma has sunglasses and a flat-brimmed hat on with her vest and blousey pants. Is she a bullfighter? Or is she a blackjack dealer?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
And Siren, this is amazing, is in full Jackie Kennedy mode with sunglasses, pink Chanel suit, pearls, and not really a pillbox hat, but like a full kubanka. The furry cylinder hat that goes right up. And she's eating senbei too, that's a great little thing. Karasuma says, that's the one with the star seed. And Siren says, the middle-aged gendarme? And Karasuma says, stop complaining. I found him for you, my former rival. And Siren says, ah, merci. Karasuma takes her senbei and says, okay then, get going. The police chief says, okay, well, bye everyone. And he walks off right by the Animaniacs. And Karasuma says, well? And Siren says, should I exchange business cards with him? And Karasuma crushes the senbei in her hand, says, baka. Usagi says, oh, I forgot about the Scooby Gang. They're probably looking for her still in that old haunted amusement park. And she runs out. In the parking lot behind the building, the chief is about to get into his squad car, crawler run, and he hears, excusez-moi? Siren stands behind him and says, I would like to have an interview with you. Outside the station, Setsuna is there, and Usagi says, Setsuna, you're here. Setsuna says, just in case. The others said that there's a 3 lights parade, so they went that way to find her. Our heroes.
I know.
In back, the police chief backs away as Siren stalks towards him as Karasuma sits on top of his squad car laughing. I like these girls. Siren says, I just want to see a star seed, your grand étoile. Karasuma thinks to herself, good pushy attitude. That's my former rival, all right. The police chief gets backed up against the wall and says, you look like a suspicious person. It's a good thing he's not armed.
Oh my gosh.
We'd see if the Animaniacs were bulletproof.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and Siren is Wako, Karasuma's Yako, and Nezu is Dot, before you even ask. Siren says, d'accord, hi, and she tears her clothes off.
Now we're getting somewhere.
And becomes Sailor Aluminum Siren. She says, laissez-moi votre grande étoile, and fires a blast from her bracelets. We see that the chief's starseed is black. Immediately! Not even bright, then black. It comes out totally black. Which, man, I could have told you that.
Yeah, right.
I know, let's find somebody who got all C's in high school.
Oh my god, no.
You were wrong, Karasuma. Siren says, ce n'est pas une étoile. That was a Marcel Duchamp joke for the art appreciation crowd. Ooh la la, ah, oui, oui. Siren says, I'm so sad that I'm hungry again. I'm going home to make supper. We hear, hold it right there. You attacked a policeman whose duty it is to protect. Well, she's not wrong. I won't forgive you. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. Sailor Moon and Sailor Pluto are here. Immediately, Karasume tears her clothes off.
Now we're getting somewhere.
And reveals her own underwear costume, saying, Sir, you're the Sailor Guardians of this place. And Sailor Moon says, who are you? And Siren pulls out her business card and says, hi, I am Sailor Aluminum Siren. Crow says, hey, knock it off. And Siren says, she's my partner. And Crow says, what are you talking about? I'm the #1 animate Sailor Lead Crow. And Siren says, and I'm Sailor Aluminum Siren. Again. Sailor Pluto is like, all right, enough of this. Dead scream. And fires a blast at the pair, but they easily leap away and land on top of Pluto's staff, where Crow says, wow, what were you aiming at? They leap across the battlefield, and Crow says, this was just a taste. We'll take care of you next time. And Siren says, as long as you survive Sailor Cop. And a phone booth appears around them, and they disappear. Glad I saved that sound effect. From behind them, Sailors Moon and Pluto hear, drop it. Dead or alive, you are coming with me. They turn around to see Sailor Cop. Part man, part machine, all tool of the state. He's like a Sentai robot version of RoboCop. Like
Yeah,
if the
he
Power
is.
Rangers ever got pulled over for drunk driving, this is who they would be fighting.
Yeah, you're right.
He points a laser gun at them, and steam shoots out of his ears. Oh, and he's got automatic sunglasses, which RoboCop really missed a trick on that one. They probably did it on the cartoon, but like, yeah, okay, sure, your gun fits into your leg, but do your shades flip down automatically? I don't think so. Sailor Moon is like, oh, his nipples are flashers. This is some Shinya Tsukamoto shit. Pluto says, is this a so-called phage? Sailor Cop fires a warning shot that explodes his squad car. And his body cam is turned off, so these girls are taking the blame for that.
Oh my gosh.
Sailor Cop prepares to fire again, saying, I am the law. It's the wrong franchise. But we get a Star Sirius laser that knocks the cop to the dirt. You aimed and fired at good citizens. A policeman shouldn't do that. You're not a man. You should be ashamed. Sailor Starlights, stage on. The Sailor Starlights are here, exclaims Sailor Pluto. Now, Sailor Moon, exclaims Sailor Starfighter, and Sailor Moon gives us the shtick, and Sailor Cop becomes regular cop once more. Fighter says, new enemies have appeared, and Maker says, they seem powerful, and Healer says, only you can protect this planet. To the Sailor Moon, not like to the audience or something like that. The Starlights face off against the Sailor Senshi uneasily, while from behind another cop car, Chibi Chibi watches. The eyes of Chibi Chibi.
Oh my gosh.
That night, Usagi is writing letter number 31, which says, Mamo, so much has happened after you left, and now new enemies have appeared. Nah. And she balls the letter up and throws it into her waste paper basket with other letters. Maybe this was letter 61. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
She writes again, Dear Mamo, today we got a new family member. You know, Familien Zuvax. Her name is Chibi Chibi, and no, I can't write this. Mamo, my mind is about to explode. The door to her room opens, and standing there is Chibi Chibi-chan in her little nightgown. Usagi, it's weird that they have those. Maybe they're on bottom, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
There's some kid clothes around here somewhere. We know that. Usagi says, what's wrong? Did you wet the bed? And Chibi Chibi has a sad look on her face. Usagi says, do you want to sleep here? And Chibi Chibi perks up. You aren't hiding any ponies or anything, right? No, you wouldn't do that. They get into bed, and Usagi thinks, she's a little strange, but she doesn't seem dangerous. I think she's okay. Good night, Chibi Chibi-chan. And as the lights go out, we cut, devastatingly, to a framed photo of Usagi, Mamoru, and Chibiusa. As Usagi thinks, tonight, I hope I see Mamo's dream. Is that a thing?
See his dream? It's weird that it was phrased that way. I don't remember it being phrased that way.
Is that do Japanese people think they're going to see somebody else's dream? Or is it like somewhere out there? We're underneath the same big sky or something like that?
It might be like that. I don't know.
All right. So, Chibi Chibi.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I get the feeling that this is, or let me ask you.
Yeah.
Do you get the feeling that this is, just jerking off? I don't mean Chibi Chibi specifically. I mean everything that's been going on, like the feeling of this entire season. In every Sailor Moon season so far, there's been both practical stakes, the world's going to explode.
Yeah.
And emotional stakes. They are parallel concerns that aren't necessarily connected, but they still complement each other. And that is good writing advice for anything, but it definitely works for superhero stuff. If the superhero is just running from place to place, punching people in different colored tights while a villain cackles, there's going to be no engagement.
Right.
And my favorite example, because I think it works so well, but I do like the character, is Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and the way that he has to juggle two parts of his life.
Yes.
It just works. And that is the formula, knowingly or not, that they have been using on the show. In R, Usagi is trying to get Mamoru to remember their love.
Yes.
While all the while, Ale and An are getting into a love square with them.
Yes.
Love square, baby! But also, a hell tree is going to take over Earth.
Yeah, right.
And then later, Mamoru breaks up with Usagi, and she's processing that. But also, UFOs are attacking Tokyo, and Chibiusa is there.
Yes.
In S, Rei has a vision of the world ending, and there's witches and demons all over the place.
Yeah.
But also there's a theme of Usagi and all the girls striving to better themselves.
Yes.
either knowingly or unknowingly preparing to meet the challenge of Pharaoh 90 at the end of the season.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, we'll be tracking the development of the sympathetic villains, because these are villains that we actually end up caring about.
Yes.
Oh, and also, how do you like your power lesbian couple?
Yeah, right, exactly.
In Supers, well, things happen in Supers. I guess it's a showcase for Chibi Usa.
It is.
But now there's Chibi Chibi.
Yes. Do you feel like this is like them kind of trying to reboot the show almost?
I feel like we've talked about them multiple times. They've tried to reboot the show. Now they seem to be really going for it.
Yeah.
And they got on a horse and jumped over the shark in a steeplechase kind of competition that also involves dead, well, they don't have to be dead, let's say live sea animals. There's no way that I can pass judgment. And I would be a fool if I go by Setsuna's logic, which is, you guys, every time something weird shows up, it always tries to kill you. And they're like, it's a little girl, don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
But Setsuna's like, she's just going off of, I don't have a crystal ball. This is literally what happened.
Right.
The last time I was worried about something like this, conservatively, well, let's say top 3. I think we know who my favorite character is, but up there.
Yeah.
Really up there, high. I love Chibi Usa.
I know. I do too.
I miss Chibi Usa.
I miss her too.
And this episode really brought that back in a big way.
Yeah, I like Chibi Chibi.
I want my baby back.
I know.
I want my baby love back.
Yeah.
I want my baby love back. Baby love back. Baby love back. But I can't, I would be stupid based on what I just said and that song I just sang to immediately go, what a load of hog swabble that's a word. So I'm gonna let it ride. But I thought if this was like a one, it's like this is the dentist office or something. It's the one-time thing. When she disappeared, like after they got her to the cop station, I was like, oh man, she's gonna be in more than one of these things. So our family has grown.
Yep.
Our family has grown. You got the Familien Zuvax now.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not. The implications are interesting. And I have no idea what it all really means. It's a little weird that she's hiding behind a cop car.
Yeah, it is.
But the fact that Setsuna doesn't recognize her doesn't necessarily mean anything.
That's true.
But the fact that big surprise, the second somebody who might be from the future shows up, our time traveler shows up.
Yeah,
but it's perfect though.
It works,
and it puts me in the mind of something like comic books. Everybody, comics are weird. Cyclops and Jean Grey's 2.5 kids, literally.
They have 2.5 kids?
They have one whole kid.
Okay.
Whose name is Nathan Summers. He's also called Cable. And they have a kid from a future that never happened, that never came to pass.
Okay.
The Days of Future, Present Future. Or I guess technically it's the Days of Future, Past Future. Rachel Summers. Now, Rachel Summers came back in time from that future, which was then eliminated. So she exists, but she'll never really be born.
Okay.
And so that's tough for her, obviously.
Yeah.
And it means that she's kind of estranged from, her family. And then her mom keeps dying and coming back to life. So, and her dad is just, he's not, he's not a great dad. So, it's just like, that's rough. And that's what it kind of reminds me of. Also, it's kind of like Marty McFly, but from his parents' perspective. If right now is 1955,
yeah,
a kid in a life vest shows up and he's like, it pulls a gun on you.
Oh my God.
And he's like, give me the flux capacitor. And he's like, hey, Daddy-O. Do you know what I mean? Like he's there to do something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a precedent for this, certainly, but, and like, I'm trying to think of the other times that the series has gone back to the well and found water there. But you can't deny we have returned to the well.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever's happening, whether if she grows claws and tentacles and she's a monster and that's, well, I should have trusted her. Even if we do, the whole setup is exactly what it looks like. It's a girl with dongos who comes back, whose name is Chibi, presumably from the future.
Right.
Or maybe from hell. We don't know. So, yeah, I'm going to gather up all these things and ponder them in my heart.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Seiya, too, being set up as another love interest for Usagi, is trying to reboot what her and Mamo had in the earlier seasons.
How would it be different? Because the thing with... People like it when I talk about Twilight, so I'm going to talk about Twilight, even though I don't know a lot about Twilight. But the difference between Edward and Jacob is that Edward is like, spending all his time trying not to throw up when he smells how delicious she is or whatever.
Yeah,
and
right.
She's like, what? Weird. But then he immediately gets all gothic romance boyfriendy, and he's watching her sleep, and he's like, I'd murder to protect you or whatever. She's like, all right. And then Jacob is like, she knew him when he was a little younger, right?
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's got abs now. And they're like palling around and eating pizza. But then it's like, maybe there's something here.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like it was 80% Jacob and like 20% her, right?
Yeah.
So there's a difference there. But you're right. It's the exact same thing. It's, hey, dumpling head.
Yeah.
Hey, let me step on Ray's face while, you throw your shoe at me or whatever.
Yeah, right.
The beats are very, very similar.
Yes.
Except for the fact that he's a rich rock star and can like take her weird places and things like that.
Yeah.
And also sometimes he's got to stop to break. He's got to dance. He's like, hold on. Hold my full shirt. Pulls a half shirt on. And he's going to dance. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. I don't know how it would be different. How could it be different? She starts dating Motoki. He's a zero. So
wow.
He shows up on time. 5 minutes early. He shows up at 6:55 with a corsage. And she's like, oh, great. Now, she probably liked that, though.
I think she'd like that.
What could some man give her, steady, that Mamo doesn't or can't? Do you know what I mean? Because he's already doesn't give her much. He's pretty stoic.
He's pretty stoic.
And she's fine with that. Again, it's probably more than 20%, but she's projecting a lot of things on him. I'm not saying he doesn't love her, but the romance part of their relationship is definitely her.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They haven't even gone on an ocean love tour.
Yeah, PGSM, I feel like their romance was more profound than the romances in the anime.
Also, like, PGSM Usagi is a little more of like a functioning human being.
Yeah, that's true too.
Look, cartoon Usagi's got a lot better. And I think that this, I've talked about this before, but I really believe this now, that the entire pitch here, insofar as there is a pitch, is this is adulterer. Oh, maybe Sailor Moon. Do you know what I mean? Like this is, we are more grown up now. And I think it is intentional and very telling that the bad guys, in addition to being fabulous Victoria's Secret models, I love the new bad guys so far. We'll talk about it later, I guess. Or maybe we'll talk about it when they die. But they're workaday. They would literally work in an office.
Yeah, they do.
They literally wear skirts or slacks and work in an office. They're grown-ups.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not like cool Thierry Mugler models, and they're not like weird boys that's like, ugh, get these boys away from me. They're trying to assault me in the future. They're just like ladies that work in an office, and they're like, oh, did you print those TPS reports? Do you know what I mean? It's like every bad guy has kind of except for the Ghostbusters. That was weird. I don't know what's going on with that. But it has represented like a future, or sort of an alternate present for our girls.
Yeah.
And so this is the adults that they will eventually become that they're kind of fighting against.
Yeah,
I thought that
that's
was
true.
really interesting.
Yeah, no, that is interesting.
Here's something for you.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to say anything, but they are the Sailor Senshi of this place.
Of this
AKA
place.
this planet. That's what the Sailor-led Crow says. Does this mean that every planet has Sailor Senshi? Interesting.
Possibly.
Interesting. Possibly. Interesting. Kind of like how every planet has Dragon Balls. Actually, I don't think that's true. I think just Namek has Dragon Balls. But the galaxy has Dragon Balls. Whatever. This is a weird show. Well, speaking of multiple kids, it's sort of like, hey, we need to make Dragon Ball fun again because there's too much screaming and people getting laser shot through them.
Oh my God.
What if Goku had another kid? Isn't Chi-Chi like 50? That's the future. So we got Goten.
Oh my gosh.
And then they got the Dragon Ball GT and they're like, it's really going to be fun now because you're going to see Goku as a little kid. Canceled in 30 episodes.
Oh no.
Would you recognize the color of television tuned to a dead channel?
Have you seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion?
Is Neo Tokyo about to explode?
Are you a technical boy or a razor girl?
Do you live 20 minutes into the future?
Do you dream of electric sheep?
Do you know Kung Fu?
If your answer to any of these questions is yes, you may be a cyberpunk. And your only hope is Mona Lisa Overpod.
On each episode of Mona Lisa Overpod, we try to answer the question, what is cyberpunk? By diving into the movies, TV shows, and literature of the genre that takes a hard look at the future we're living in today.
Mona Lisa Overpod is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Jack in with us as we punch deck and snow crash our lawnmower. Man.
Oh man, you had it right up until the end there.
Hack the planet!
Right on.
Today for Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about police in Japan.
We have not already talked about this, huh?
No, we haven't.
Haven't we?
No,
Why
we
do I know
haven't.
about what the white gloves and the police office?
the Koban. I mean, we talked about it like in bits and pieces here and there.
Oh.
And we talked about guns in Japan.
Oh. Well, right, but that shouldn't have anything to do with cops, right?
Well, they actually...
There was the one episode where the lady was like, I'm going to be the best police person ever.
Yes.
And when the lessons got all weird, I think in S, right, where it's like, you're right, I will beat a confession out of a suspect. Thanks, Sailor Moon.
Later on, the model for policing came from Europe. Japan's police force got too militaristic in the early part of the 20th century, which is what partially led to their involvement in World War II.
Wait, what? How?
We'll get to that more later,
Okay,
but
sorry.
it's
Sir,
okay.
The movie has just started. Please stop talking.
After the war, police were decentralized. Today, the Koban is the heart of policing and allows police in Japan to have a finger on the pulse of their
A
neighborhoods.
gloved finger on the pulse.
Yes. The Roshigumi, which was the beginnings of the Shinsengumi, was originally formed to protect the shogun. The squad's commander was Matsudaira Katamori. Katamori, after the methodical evaluation of the political scene in Kyoto, felt it was needed to alter the Mibu Roshigumi's mission from protecting the shogunate to patrolling the streets of Kyoto and restoring order in the name of the Tokugawa Bakufu.
Huh. And this is around the time of the lifting of the ban?
Yes.
Okay. The travel ban, closing the country.
Yes, it is. On August 18th, 1863, the Mibu Roshigumi was renamed the Shinsengumi. The Shinsengumi submitted a letter to the Aizu clan, another powerful group who supported the Tokugawa regime, requesting permission to police Kyoto. The request was granted. On July 8th, 1864, in an incident at the Ikedeya Inn in Kyoto, 30 Shinsengumi suppressed a group of 20 Choshu revolutionaries.
As seen in the historical document video game, Like a Dragon Ishin.
Okay.
Because it's Sakamoto Ryoma.
Because they were able to do this, they possibly prevented the burning of Kyoto.
Well, maybe it had it coming.
Maybe. The incident made the squad more famous and led to soldiers enlisting in the Shinsengumi. Before the 1871 elimination of the Han system, which effectively removed daimyos from their official positions, the new Japanese capital of Tokyo was patrolled by mixed troops of samurai. On August 29, 1871, a special force modeled after Western-style National Gendarmerie, a branch of the French armed forces, was organized.
Gendarmes?
Yes. Known as Rasotsu, Kawaji Toshiyoshi, a statesman from Satsuma domain and former samurai, and Saigo Takamori, a senior samurai also from the Satsuma domain, were tasked with the recruitment of patrolmen. A total of 2,000 patrolmen initially formed the Rasotsu. From Wikipedia, quote, on January 9th, 1874, the Keishicho, present Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, was formed, with Kawaji as Daikeshi, or Chief of Police Superintendent General, having equivalent rank of Major General. Meanwhile, the policemen were rebranded as Keisatsu, a name which has remained to this day. By 1876, the total number of Tokyo policemen increased to 6,000. Kawaji was also careful in recruiting former enemies during the Boshin War, including elements of the Shinsengumi. One of the better-known former Shinsengumi members in the police force was 3rd Unit Captain Saito Hajime, who became a police inspector under the name Fujita Goro.
Goro!
Yes. He is believed to have been recruited by Kawaji himself. By the 1880s, the police had developed into a nationwide instrument of government control, providing support for local leaders and enforcing public morality. In rural areas especially, the police had great authority and were accorded the same mixture of fear and respect as the village head. Their increasing involvement in political affairs was one of the foundations of the authoritarian state in Japan in the first half of the 20th century.
Well, the new version of it.
Yeah.
The authoritarian state in Japan had existed for 800 years or so. Or
I suppose that's
arguably
true.
longer.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. From Wikipedia, quote, the centralized police system steadily acquired responsibilities until it controlled almost all aspects of daily life, including fire prevention and mediation of labor disputes. The system regulated public health, business, factories, construction, and it issued permits and licenses. The Peace Talk Law of 1925 gave police the authority to arrest people for, quote, wrong thoughts. Special... I know.
Here we go.
I know. Special hire police, Toko, were created to regulate content of motion pictures, political meetings, and election campaigns. The Imperial Japanese Army's military police, Kempeitai, and the Imperial Japanese Navy, Toketai, operating under the respective services and the Justice and Home Ministries, aided the civilian police in limiting prescribed political activity. After the Manchurian Incident of 1931, military police assumed greater authority, leading to friction with their civilian counterparts.
You know, it's okay, though, because these people were all elected. So that's, we chose these.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. No, none of these people were. They were appointed, sometimes self-appointed.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Do they have swords? They sure do.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a sword?
No,
Okay.
they sure don't.
All right.
After 1937, police directed business activities for the war effort, mobilized labor, and controlled transportation, continuing throughout the rest of World War II.
Are we going to get to a part eventually where, sorry, maybe I'm just not letting you get to it by talking.
You're fine.
But where we find out how they got rid of all this? Like, I'm not saying that, Japanese cops are a lot better than anywhere else, but
Right.
there are a lot of ones that don't have a gun and just go, yeah, the Hard Rock Cafe's over there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And find lost children, right?
Right.
And they started off as basically, hey, all you homeless samurai with swords want a badge?
Right.
I'm your boss. Actually, I'm going to call myself Major General, so call me that.
Right. Exactly.
Goro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
How did it get from that to, oh, I'll help you find your dog? Sure. Are we going to find that out?
We'll get to it.
Okay. All right.
After Japan's surrender in 1945, the Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers, also known as Douglas MacArthur, retained the pre-war police structure, but thought that the organization was undemocratic.
Wow. Possibly the only good decision that MacArthur's ever made.
Yeah.
Outside of combat.
Yeah. A new system was implemented.
Hey, wait a minute. Nobody voted for these guys. This is not democratic.
A new system was implemented after the Diet passed the 1947 police law. The police system was decentralized. About 1,600 dependent municipal forces were established in cities, towns, and villages with 5,000 inhabitants or more, and a national rural police was organized by prefecture.
Which is honestly what they would have wanted anyway, right?
Well,
Japanese love administration. So that works out. Yeah, obviously, police departments should be, well, the leader should be elected by the people they're policing.
That's true.
And they should be administrated from that area. There's no point in having somebody in Houston tell people in Seattle what to do. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, no, you guys get to do what you like to do anyway, which is, this little prefecture over here, a little thing over here, a little council over here. Be free, do it.
They actually wanted it to be centralized.
I know, which is so weird.
Yeah.
It comes from the imperial / shogunate years, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, that's just good. I'm glad that they got to figure that out.
Yeah. The 1947 police law was amended in 1951 to allow the municipal police of smaller communities to merge with national rural police. Most chose this arrangement, and by 1954, only 400 cities, towns, and villages still had their own police forces. The National Police Agency, Keisatsucho, is the central coordinating law enforcement agency of the Japanese police system. Unlike national police in other countries, the NPA does not have any operational units for its own aside from the Imperial Guard. Rather, it is responsible for supervising Japan's 47 prefectural police departments and determining their general standards and policies, though it can command police agencies under it in national emergencies or large-scale disasters. Koban are small police stations run by 1 to 4 cops at a time. Their responsibilities are expansive and go beyond typical law enforcement. By far, the most popular police service is running what could be the world's largest, most well-organized Lost and Found. Last year, the Tokyo Police Department collected nearly 3 million objects. There is an entire floor just for nearly 250,000 umbrellas, each carefully labeled and logged.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what that kind of job doesn't attract?
What?
Psychopaths with a chip on their shoulder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Man, one day a real rain's going to come and help everybody find their lost items.
Tokyo resident Jake Adelstein said, quote, "Police are very well paid here, so they have an incentive to do their job well." Koban cops are required to regularly visit every business and household in their districts twice a year to hand out anti-crime flyers or ask about their security cameras.
What are the anti-crime flyers, Precious? Oh, don't steal. Okay. Hey, thanks for bringing this over. What is it like? Don't fall for the we got to fix your water heater scam or whatever. Is it stuff like that?
Like maybe
the
like
door-to-door?
phishing or something like that.
What episode was that we talked about door-to-door stuff?
Oh yeah, like NHK and that sort of thing.
Don't fall for the TV license thing, or don't give anybody your social security number. Yeah.
It is designed to give it a feel of a community and to make the cops feel more like neighborhood cops.
Yeah.
By doing this, they are more invested in the community, which makes the citizens trust them more.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Police.
I don't know any cops.
I don't either.
Around here. Officer friendly.
Right.
Officer Krepke.
Yes. Police departments create their own mascots and produce cartoon civics lessons for kids.
All right, too far. It's copy.
Yeah.
It's what about Sailor Cop? They pitched that one. They went, it sends the wrong message.
At least one police force in Western Japan has a squad of dancing officers, all reinforcing the image of the easygoing, affable, and ever-supportive cop.
You know what? I'm willing to give it a try.
Some officers carry .38 caliber revolver, but thanks to strict gun laws, firearms usually aren't fired. Instead of using a gun, officers train intensively in self-defense skills for restraining offenders called Taiho Jitsu,
Oh.
the art of arrest.
Arrest foo.
Yes. Officer Suzuki said, quote, "It is a set of techniques for keeping ourselves and others safe. I think of it as a martial arts for police. Our job is to protect not just crime victims, but crime suspects as well."
And they're doing a lot of jumping jacks
A ton.
in that yard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In their bloomers.
Oh, my God, no. Critics say Japan has too many cops and that officers don't have enough to do, and as a result, they are bored. Police are generally reluctant to investigate crimes regarding abuse towards a woman or a child, especially sexual abuse and domestic violence.
Oh, what?
Women are reluctant to report a crime because they feel like they won't be taken seriously.
Oh, uh-oh.
1 in 5 cases of rape are never reported to the police. Other sources say it could be as low as 1 in 20.
Okay. What? Where did this come from? Now it was fun 2 seconds ago.
I know.
What's this?
Well,
Cop problems.
cop problems. I'm sorry, I should have prefaced that with
What challenges that
the cops
police
are going
facing?
through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some more challenges.
Okay, great.
Takeshi Honda, the former head of community safety department at the Kagoshima Prefectural Police, was arrested on May 31st of this year for leaking internal police documents to a reporter. Honda was trying to blow the whistle on some fellow officers who had committed crimes but whom had not been investigated or punished. From the Japan News, quote, "There was an incident of voyeuristic photography in a woman's restroom and a case of misuse of a patrol communication book, which compiles information collected from residents by the prefectural police." Yeah, so some not so great stuff there.
So wait, okay, no, stop.
Yes.
Stop. I'm going to funny and then serious. Funny. Well, it's tough to arrest a cop because he's got arrest foo, so you're using the arrest. But he already knows the move, so you're like, bop, 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 bop. We can't arrest him. But he was arrested for blowing the whistle?
Yes.
Are there whistleblower protection laws in Japan? Oh, please say yes.
I don't know.
Oh, well, it doesn't seem like it because he got arrested.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, he leaked documents to a reporter.
Good.
And they're trying to say that he shouldn't have done that.
No, they've said that by putting him in cuffs, but what happened to him?
Well, this is still in process. So, so he's actually he's in his 60s.
Oh.
And he actually retired in March right before he leaked the documents.
Okay, I understand why he did that. Also, he's 60.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have to talk about retirement in Japan. Write that down.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but see, think, man. Honda, think. You lose the immunity when you retire. If you've got the immunity. All right, so, this is what we call the blue wall of silence, right? This is the problem that whistleblowers face in police departments all over the world.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And he said that he just wanted people to know that it was going on.
Yeah.
And he had a hard time just turning a blind eye to it. So, I mean, I think he did the right thing, but...
Yeah, I don't think there's any but about it.
Yeah.
Except the butts on the dancing police officers.
Of course.
Yeah.
I do have another fact here. So this is not exactly police, but a team of 3 security guard patrol robots reported for duty at the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building in August 2022.
Okay. Wait a minute. No! Sailor Cop! I'm going to Bookie.
From Sora News 24, quote, their AI can detect people and obstacles to avoid collisions while going about their predetermined patrol routes. And they have several onboard cameras that broadcast video directly to human security personnel at a central location.
So here's a question. First of all, maybe not you, but your kids are going to see robot policemen. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But they've tried to do that. They did, the NYPD, for example, I think last year debuted like robot cop dogs.
Oh yeah,
and
I remember
immediately
that.
everybody was like, no. They're like, haha, just kidding. Sure, you're just kidding. But the Japanese, they're more like, well, I mean, it seems like, we love robots. We love our cops. Put little white gloves on the robot dog's legs. And what do they think about that?
I think they probably would support having
You guys,
robot cops.
Come on.
I think they would.
This is how it happens.
I know.
This is how it starts.
So Japanese police keep their finger on the pulse of their neighborhoods due to the Koban policing system. They are able to make lasting connections with folks by treating the citizens as neighbors. Police sometimes don't put enough effort into investigating domestic violence. Sometimes there's a scandalous situation like the unit in Kagoshima, but overall they aren't as violent as their Western counterparts.
Well, that was a good summary, I think, of the policing in Japan. The problem seems to be that they still have this culture of kind of doing whatever they want.
Uh-huh.
And when they don't have guns and when their jurisdiction is small and their power is low, maybe they're like, ha ha ha, I've got a cardboard box filled with all the lost items and no one will ever find them. The effects of the abuses of power are much smaller.
Yes.
Right?
I think so.
That's where we need to keep things.
Yes.
But I mean, you didn't even get into, and I'm glad because, let's not get too depressed, but you didn't even get into like the administrative side and who's really making the decisions and who's in charge.
Right.
And who's, arresting or suing the guy who's trying to say, hey, bad things are going on here.
Yeah.
And we know that like corruption exists in Japanese governmental structures just like it does everywhere else.
Of course.
Perhaps more so.
I did read too that there were a number of instances where cops would be mean to civilians and would harass them. And a lot of it is due to like quotas that they need to meet.
Yeah.
So sometimes police will stop somebody on a bicycle just to check to see if the bike is stolen.
Oh
or
my
not.
God. But bicycle stop and frisk.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So that happens a lot. And sometimes cops just aren't helpful. Like there is another story that I read where there was this young woman who was walking home and somebody was following her. So she ducked into a koban and she was telling them about it. And she's trying to see if maybe they could help her get home or get this guy to leave her alone. They like said something about how she was wearing a mini skirt.
Okay.
And then like,
all right.
and they
Sexism
were like,
a problem.
yeah. And they
Not
were
going to
like,
get fixed today, but
No.
wow. Okay.
and they were like, well, you must be lonely. That's why you're walking home late at night. And it's like, okay.
Oh, that's not great. Oh,
Yeah.
We know about it. So that at least she told her story.
Yeah,
And I hope they got reprimanded. But how many times has that happened and we don't hear about it?
exactly.
Plus, if the whole thing is, and look, apparently they get very well paid, so I'm not going to worry about insulting them too much.
Right.
But if they're just campus security, that's what they sound like.
Kind of, yeah.
And she comes into her thing, whether or not she was right, it could have been just some guy who was listening to his iPhones and he didn't even know that she was scared or something like that, right?
It's possible.
If she's walking home, she must be close to home. Walk her home.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the four of you can walk her home.
Yeah.
And if it's too far, when you have a radio when she enters the jurisdiction of another box.
You're absolutely right.
The next guy can come out and walk her home.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Can you imagine like campus security being like, I don't think so. Nice miniskirt though.
No, I can't.
Yeah, right. That guy wouldn't work at that college anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the college, but.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, good luck to everybody, everywhere.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? The girls are eating ice cream cones in the park. Setsuna has an ice cream on a stick, just to be different. Usagi tossed a pop can into the recycling. Aluminum Siren is eating some dried pickled octopus.
Yeah, what was the name of it again?
Sudako.
Oh, I love Sudako. You get the numbers in there and you
Yeah.
try to get them all to... Okay.
Yes.
I don't eat squid or octopus, as I've made clear before.
Yes.
But they're either you like the flavor or the flavor is often enhanced with something, usually something savory. They're drying it, so you're losing the moisture.
Yes.
And they're pickling it.
Yes.
So it's just going to taste like a pickle.
You're right.
You guys are crazy. Why? That's so weird.
It is weird. It's like, why did you want to do that to?
Do they have... is there a Japanese octopus fishery that has an octopus mascot, but the octopus is missing a couple limbs and has a black eye, and he's like, "Hey, I'm delicious.
Oh my God."
Also, I can solve problems and recognize faces."
I kind of wish this existed.
Well, they have one for everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't feel like they're going to do a Chick-fil-A where the cows are like, "No, eat the chickens."
Yeah, right.
They're just going to be like, "Eat me." Terrible.
Oh my gosh.
I'm as smart as a third grader.
Oh my God.
Eat me. Yeah, dry me out and pickle me. Yum,
It's
yum.
delicious.
I have children.
Oh my God. Aluminum Siren has a bento box that she has brought to work with her.
Yeah, and it was a big bento box, too.
It was.
She
It
got
had-
an appetite.
It had like 2 sections at least.
Yeah.
And she invites Karasuma to join her. Usagi talks about getting something cold to drink when they get home. Siren eats a senbei while they are at the police station. And Siren said at the disappointment of not finding a true starseed that she was sad, so she was hungry and needed to go home to eat dinner.
No.
Villain Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The phage in this episode is Sailor Cop. His name is Sailor Cop.
He is Sailor Cop.
That is enough said.
2 jobs.
He's a white metal robot, a la RoboCop.
Well, yeah, he's a white robot.
He has a Sailor Fuku collar that's navy blue. He has navy blue police hat, goggles, sunglasses with steams coming out of.
They're wraparounds.
Okay.
And if they had wanted to take the time, they would have been mirrored. But of course, you have to draw all that, in a
That's true.
cartoon. So
That would be
but
a
you
lot.
get what it is.
Yeah. A blue robotic looking laser gun. And he also has like lights like they're on a cop car or what have you on his chest.
Yes, he does. They're not just on it. Come on, they're not just on his chest.
They're where his nipples should be.
They certainly are.
Yep. Yep. He has a black belt with a gun holster as well. I like his overall design. It reminds me of RoboCop. He's still a cop, so I'm not super excited about him. He fires his gun a couple of times, then he puts a cop car on fire. I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more creative with the design and the weapons. I'm going to give him 3 out of 5 dark stars.
I think that is fair. Man, you could win a basketball game with all the 3s that were given out this season.
I know.
From downtown. I'm going to give him 4. I'm not sure that it deserves 4, and maybe being a cop should just be -2 off the bat, but he's a fictional cop.
Yes.
Those are the only cops that are heroes, or at least heroes like superheroes, and he's even a bad guy. But yeah, it's a fun design. It's fun to see them finally, because he doesn't even transform. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He appears specifically feet, just like RoboCop does in the movies, right?
Right.
The feet come out of the car. Well, whoa, what's this?
Yep.
And then and we see him and he comes out of the car. It's RoboCop.
Yep.
It's a reveal.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. It's fun to see, and maybe they have a bucket list that they're checking off, but it's fun to see the clear love of the 80s American action cinema be confirmed in this. We know about the visor. We know about the little things that pop up on Almi's computer.
Right.
And there was that one time that Kurtwood Smith did the villain's voice for, I don't know. But they love RoboCop. They love 80s action movies.
Yes.
This is a little more explicit. This is kind of like pointing at it with a flashing sign. But I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And he didn't get to do all that much, but I thought that he probably could have been. They got on him real fast, but if you'd let him, get loose, he probably could cause a lot of mayhem.
Probably.
His gun, too, seemed like a reference to something.
Huh.
It looked like a ray gun. I feel like at some point there was like a Nerf gun or something like that had a thing that like some Nerf guns do, where you pull the thing back in the back.
Okay, sure.
You pull like a lever back, and that primes it, and then you pull the trigger, and the thing comes out, and it's like shaped like a UFOs, like a 50s UFOs ray gun is kind of what it looked like.
Okay.
It was bringing up some kind of memory in me of something. So I don't know what that was, but
okay.
And then they also kind of made it weird because it's supposed to be silly and funny, and he's got the sailor suit, and he's got flashing nipples, and there's a lot we didn't dig into in Sailor Cop.
There is.
The one thing they missed, though, was once the goggles come down, then we see the Senshi from his point of view, and the beep, 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 and then like maybe three directives, protect the starseeds, destroy the Sailor Senshi, uphold evil, or something like that.
No, that would have been great.
We needed a little bit more, but because we've got villain comedy sketches to do, we've got hero comedy sketches to do, we've got the memory of an amazing character to desecrate with a cheap knockoff. We got a lot of things to do, and so the monsters get like shorter and shorter shrift. But I did think that he stood out, so I think it's probably worth a 4.
Okay, that sounds good.
Directive 4.
Directive 4? Okay. I do have some trivia for this episode. This episode is the first speaking roles for Sailor Lead Crow and Sailor Aluminum Siren.
Well, is it? I thought the first time we saw them as shadows, they're like, yeah, all right, we're going to do it.
Well, maybe they did.
This is definitely the first time that we learned their names. And they're,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They step into the light, as it were.
Right. This was the first appearance of Sailor Pluto in the series' main arc.
Which, I mean, look, they've left and come back so many times. We shouldn't be surprised that they just show up.
Yeah.
But it is a little weird when they go, it takes a lot of energy to travel through time. And then in season 5, it's like, Satsuna! She's like, I wanted a bomb pop. So they got that worked out.
Yeah, they did. In this episode, Usagi wore the shirt that was designed by Yoshiki Usui in episode 140.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. This is the first episode since episode 149 in which Usagi narrated about the episode before the opening theme song.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
That went away for a while.
It went away for a long while.
And it didn't, it did. And it didn't exist when it probably would have helped the most, which is Natalinia's got us in a secret world where we're fighting doubles of her.
Yeah,
how am I
right.
going to ever get to Mamo in time?
Right.
Find out on Sailor Moon.
Right, exactly.
They expected people, and people were probably locked in at this point, but like to just follow a 6-episode arc with no previously on. Now on TV shows, genre shows, they previously on when it's not picking up from anything.
Yeah, they do.
They'll just like, a character will mention that, he's got a bad back. And so they'll show the episode 3 seasons ago, the guy's like, my back. So, and then this episode will go, my back. We let him know. So weird.
It is weird.
Do you don't think there's no production reason or any? particular?
Don't know that there's any particular
This is
reason
definitely the
why.
start of, we're on the second half now, right?
Yeah.
So we're on the downhill slope, which is where the speed is. But yeah, that's so, They're just like, do it again.
So now we're up to our rating. I like how Minako says the Starlights might be pretending to be nice, but would later abduct them into outer space and insert some strange device into their brains.
All right, Mina, steady. Oh, brains, okay.
Yeah, right.
But, okay.
I like how we meet Chibi Chibi in this episode. I like how Usagi and Luna were talking.
Like how they, okay, it's your turn.
I like how Usagi and Luna were talking about taking Chibi Chibi to the police and then she disappeared. I like how Aluminum Siren throws out Mouse's coffee mug and how she is frantically cleaning the office space. I don't like how Sailor Starfighter says a police officer doesn't point his gun at a law-abiding citizens. He shouldn't point his gun at any citizens.
Yeah, that's true.
But, so I thought there are parts of this episode that I liked, and there are parts that I didn't like as much. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
Look, this is going to be controversial. Oh, they're going to be talking about this. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars.
Really?
I don't have to love everything for an episode to accomplish what it sets out to do, which is my real standard. If something is just really like, oh boy, I really didn't like that, maybe I would, give it a 4 out of spite. But this is cooking, as most episodes that start off arcs do. They wanted this to accomplish a lot. They wanted it to be entertaining. They wanted it to introduce us to new people, to reintroduce old elements. And it does that. And I am engaged once more. I want the answer to some of these mysteries. I like the new characters. I like all those things. And it was funny. And it continued to... Well, I've already talked about how they keep adding these elements that make the show feel more grown up. And I think that's good. Yeah, I think it all works.
Okay.
Not my favorite episode ever. And a couple things I might have done differently, but I just think everything works. I think it does what it sets out to do, and that's my standard. I will say, I've thought about it a little bit now, I will say that I think Chibi Chibi is a bad move ultimately from a big picture perspective.
Okay.
Because with 18 episodes left after this, I can't imagine what she can bring to this. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
You always want to over-egg the pudding. You always want to have every single thing being a thing up until the end. And unless you're Avengers Endgame, which is 3.5 hours long, and kind of has the responsibility to wrap up a bunch of hanging plot threads in 23 other movies or whatever it was at the time, you should be concentrating on bringing it home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They say don't introduce new information or characters in the third act, and we are way into the third act at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
So why aren't we focusing on whether Usagi's going to pick a college or something, or if she's going to ultimately marry Mamoru, or what the...
Right.
Let's give Makoto some lines, you know what I mean? Let's have her go back to the Mountain Ninjas or something. Like, why are we introducing completely new elements that need to be picked apart?
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily necessary. And you even have a handicap, like a golf handicap, beneficial in that you burned 7 or so episodes at the beginning of the season. You even have less time to fill, and you're like, more stuff, clowns, open the car, and all these clowns come spilling out. Oh no, we did clowns before already last year.
Oh my God.
So I don't know where they're going with that. But like I said, I can't fully judge it as a move. I just think I don't want no more new characters. Just give me every ounce of what I want from the characters I already know and love before this thing rides off into the sunset. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or Chibi Chibi. We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Got my eye on you, Chibi Chibi.
My English title for this episode is New Family, Welcome Happily.
That's nice. New family, welcome happily. Or, as they say in German, Familien Zuvachs.
Yes.
Minus the happy. My title focuses on the fact that this is both the introduction of a character that is like, let's say, black tar heroin levels of cute.
Oh my God.
Clearly designed by an insane AI in a wind tunnel to evoke the cutest response from everybody. And also a pastiche on RoboCop, weirdly enough. So to combine those two, my title is The Future of Awe Enforcement.
Oh my God. Next episode, we were talking about episode number 183, Shiro no Sekibi, Kyofu Kampu no Kaijin. In Japanese, and the English translation, The Screaming Dead, Terror of the Camp Monster.
What the hell? All right, Camp Monster.
Yeah.
This is like, we can't get away with the beach, so we're going to camp.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it could be good.
It could be good.
We'll see. A little break. Again, you have 18 episodes left. Other than budgetary reasons, do we really need a beach episode?
I know.
Aren't there like real conflicts, real things in the lives of these characters that you've spent 4.5 years with?
Yes.
That we could bring to a close and
Absolutely.
give a satisfying story end to, narrative completeness.
Absolutely.
Who's writing this? The Fast and the Furious people? It's the Fast and the Furious 12. Oh, it's even more family.
Oh my God.
I don't got family. I got familions of hey, BR familions. Yeah, you get the idea. Join us on Discord. We got a Discord for our show, but also for our network. And there's a link to it in the show notes. If you go there, you can click on it, get right in there. It's free to join. And join us for conversation. Listen to Cincy Raz. Join us for conversations about your favorite pop culture topics. You know, in light of the appearance of Chibi Chibi, that is a possible child that we didn't know about from Mamoru and Usagi. A look into their future, we decided to take a look into the future of these characters on our PGSN, that's Pretty Guardian Sailor Noob's show, where we cover the live-action show, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. We've already finished talking about the show, but recently the actresses behind the characters got together after 20 years to talk about their experiences on the show, and we reviewed that talk and talked about our memories of watching the show.
Yeah.
And our appreciation of the actresses and the characters they played, and we threw out a little pitch about what we thought a revival, a 2025 look back at that show might look like. And everybody's Chibi Chibi. There's a ton of new kids. Not everybody has
That's
a kid
true.
in our pitch, but we tried to come up with something interesting. So check that out if you like the live action show. If you haven't watched the live action show, shame on you. It's perfect.
It's excellent.
It's amazing. I was going to say, we should do a podcast on it. We already did. And you can listen to that at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Bumper.